viewers, it's your half-assed reporter, James Kalm on the bike. Special shout out to our viewers in Niger, Scotland, and Miami. Today we are down in Red Hook. We're gonna pop into the Kentler International Drawing Center and take a trip down memory lane. Well, we're going to take a little stroll through of a retrospective exhibition by Richard Mock titled Cutting Edge. This is an exhibition. What are they saying? Something like 300 linoleum block prints that he produced. And, well, we're not going to have a chance to look at each one of these individually. We'll pick out a few highlights. Richard Mock was a very prolific printmaker. And I think one of the other notable things about him is that he was one of the better known, more recognized Brooklyn artists who started to emerge along with the Neo-Expressionism in the late 70s, early 80s. Okay. And he actually, for maybe the last decade and a half of his life, probably had a studio about 3 blocks away from here. Okay, that's an interesting one. Oh, I like this. Okay, it's kind of it's like a woman. She's a sculptor, or maybe it's somebody digging out of a tunnel. And I think Richard also was commissioned to do some of these prints as illustrations for various things. He might have even been used by institutions like the Times. Let's see, that's another good one. I would say that probably most of these are about this size, so that's 18 by 24. This one would be 18 by 12, maybe, something like that. And he has a really nice sense of balancing the blacks against the whites. Now, I think I met him once or twice. I know that he organized a couple of group shows up at his studio that I visited. Gosh, is that a portrait of President Clinton? Could be. So as I'm looking at some of these, I see that Richard really did have a biting, sardonic sense of humor. And I was just speaking with one of the visitors who was saying that most of these were commissioned. So I assume Richard might have been making a certain kind of income from a lot of the prints he was doing. Well, I've also made the statement recently that we seem to be faced with a bunch of incredible social crises. At least that's what they tell us. And then if you spend a little time and go back, that's interesting. You go back and a lot of these images you could put out today and they would be just as valid as they were when they were originally printed. Probably some of these are 30 years old. And I'm not sure, but I think you might be able to go back into the files and find another show that featured Richard's work at the Sideshow Gallery. Okay, we got a little title for this. The Runaway Pentagon. This is 1984. So that's over 30 years ago. I'm just laughing. I'm thinking, I wonder what kind of images Richard would have come out with about the pandemic or the the Trump years or the election or a whole lot of juicy subject matters that he could be working on now. Okay, it says here on the wall label that Richard Bach did a bunch of untitled lino cuts for the op-ed pages of the New York Times. Okay, titles of the articles and quotes are published. This is from the 1980s. These are some of his blocks. No, that's fine. That's good. It's Florence Neal who runs the space here.
This was 78. This is when he came back to New York.
1978. Okay. Nice.
This was for an article. You can see what it says.
Everyone has the right to rest and leisure, including reasonable limitation of working hours and periodic holidays and pay, except artists who never take a day off, especially if you're making linoleum prints by the hundreds. Well, I guess the The earliest pieces in the show are from 1978, and then that runs all the way up to 2006, which is the year that Richard passed away. So that's already 15 years ago. The only thing that I would say about this is it is focusing on the prints, but Richard was also a pretty darn good painter, and at some point it would be nice if an institution of some kind would get together and extend a show out to his painting as well. James Kalm reporting on Richard Mock, The Cutting Edge, here at Kentler International Drawing Center.
Oh, there, little Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
See you later, buddy. Sorry about that. No more Donald Duck. No more Donald Duck. Get him out the White House now.
Thank you.
You been like over Donald Duck. Come out there right there.
We're gonna run in here to one of our favorite galleries here, Shrine. And okay, there's Scott Ogden. I can unmask? Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Well, this is a show by Derek Aylward, is that the way they pronounce this? Alward. It's a painting show. I came in a couple of days ago and took a stroll through and thought that this was some pretty interesting paintings, so we came back even though we were threatened with dangerous thunderstorms. At least that's what the weather forecast was predicting. Well, we can start out looking at this piece. It's titled Gang. Acrylic and spray paint on canvas. This is 60 by 72. Well, I was just talking to Scott, and Scott said that Derek is located in, where in Massachusetts? Quincy. So, well, there's a whole school of Boston figurative painters that were kind of popular back in the 50s and 60s. I think one of them was a guy named Norman Blum and Jack Levine. Kind of some, well, very accomplished but kind of grotesque figurative painters. Also, I like the kind of the use of the chunky surfaces here and the contrast with his spray paint. This is Untitled. 2021, this is 24 by 18 inches. Well, I've recently been talking about the cuisine of painting, and we had a discussion with Kathy Bradford where we were talking about the cuisine and maybe even with Don Voisin. I think Derek is someone that understands the cuisine of acrylics. Also, you can't help but think about Picasso. I mean, when you look at this, although I don't think Picasso was doing cubism when he was in his blue period, but kind of the way this is broken up, and you get a profile laid against a straight-on face, and this kind of thing with the eyes is nice. I think this is one of the pieces that caught my eye on my little trip through the other day. It's titled Monsters. Acrylic spray paint on canvas. I was looking at this and also thinking that looks like there's some, is there collage in here? Do you know, Scott? Looks like there could be some, yeah, maybe, maybe not, but the kind of surface he gets there looks like there's maybe some rumpled paper or something that's glued on there, and he builds up on top of that.
It might be, it could also just be layered paint.
Could be just layers of paint. Anyway, I like the way that he's used a very limited palette on this, all going into the oranges and browns, dark reds. And again, I talk a lot about paint surfaces, and one of the things that I like about oil is that you can get a great variation between the flats, the matte surfaces, and the shiny surfaces. But you can see that Derek is also kind of using those acrylic mediums and stuff to get the variations. It's titled Another Beast, 30 by 40. Well, sort of get the feeling of one of Picasso's bulls here, the head there, but yeah, this has got the dugs. And I was thinking if we had a couple of little babies suckling there, we could have Romulus and Remus. Okay, I don't have a title on this one. But I think this is probably is also 48 by 36, something like that. And yeah, I think some real nice color things going on. One of the things I was going to draw your attention to, maybe we can see it a little better in some of the other paintings, is Derek's use of like pale midtones. This is titled Fight Night. Acrylic and spray paint. This is 36 by 48. Yeah, again, some nice color things. And although some of this could be kind of goofy, there is a certain cubistic sense to a lot of this, just the way that Derek kind of cuts his forms out and shapes them. Okay, this is what I was talking about with the kind of the use of the midtones. So Derek's not only using like extremely high-keyed colors and fluorescence and primaries, then he goes into a section like this where it's all kind of putty grays, Naples yellows, grayed out browns. Nice. Also, some of these simple things like the light bulbs are really nice little color keys. This is Untitled. .24 by 30. And I'm looking at some of this and getting some echoes of one of the great Cobra painters. I think it was Pierre Alchinsky. I think he was Belgian. But he's a fantastic painter, and he was also very influential on people like Keith Haring. It's another one of the larger pieces. It's titled Meeting. Acrylic and spray paint. This is 5 by 6 feet. Okay. So you can see the glossy black against some of this more matte midtones. And like I was saying, so you've got a whole section here of pale yellows, earth tones, beiges, off-whites, pinks, and then you've got a couple of very nice hard-edged forms in the fluorescent. Beautiful contrast. Because also there's a nice kind of urgency. And like he's painting like these itinerant sign painters. You know, we're not going to spend a lot of time if we can get the message down in 5 minutes. That's what we do. This is an interesting little, it's not exactly a diptych, but two versions of this one. This is albino gator, which probably refers to the old urban legend of the albino alligators that were swimming through all the sewers in New York, supposedly. I guess they used to give away baby alligators at Coney Island if you would, I don't know, pop the balloon with the dart or throw the baseball through the middle of the bucket or something, and the kids would take the alligators home and the moms would look at them and say, gee, you can't keep that gator, let's flush it down the toilet. And so supposedly they were living down there for years, maybe breeding, I don't know. This is just gator, 24 by 36. And again, Scott shows a lot of outsider art, and a lot of this are people from the South that basically do a lot of the painting and the work outside, and it's very simple, and it goes to what I was talking about the sign painters, and I think these two pieces have that quality. Okay, we're gonna look at a couple over here behind the desk. This is a nice one. This also has that kind of surface that I was talking about. Well, now that I'm looking at it, it does look like maybe it just has paint on there or something where he's squeegeed in things, but it does look like kind of like rumpled papers, maybe something you would see on the street where people had put up posters and things and have let it build up.
The parachuting skull.
One of the nice things about working with acrylic is that you can actually do your fades easily with just like a watercolor. You start with a hard edge and then you mix in a little more water or medium and sort of slide it over and you can thin out your color. I like that figure of the person in the blue dress. I guess that's titled Fantasy Island. The plane. And we're gonna finish off looking at this piece, Untitled, 20 by 16. And yeah, this looks like it was sitting in the studio next to some other paintings that were getting splashed on, but it adds a nice kind of ruggedness to it. James Kalm reporting on Derek Alward? Screen door on a submarine here at Shrine. You can like this, share, you can subscribe, link it up to all your social media sites, and you can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, and reviews below. We just ask you to say, thank you, Kate.
Visit spikesewage.com if you like what you heard.
Spikesewage.com. Okay, thank you.